Top 5 list time. Let's do this.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Hey guys, it is Kirby, and welcome to Card Talk. So this is our new name for our podcast. Yeah, we got the first episode finally uploaded. It's kind of great. I've already got tonight's episode scheduled for upload, and yeah, so this is pretty cool. We're gonna be doing daily uploads consistently. I promised it. I'm delivering it. And today I promised to do a top 5 list. Well, kind of. Top 5 in no specific order. So they're gonna be my 5 favorite decks that I have ran in my lifetime. So when I was kind of, thinking up which ones, I wanted to use, I was thinking, oh man, I've played through quite a few in, the TCG, but there's a few that, I wasn't a fan of even. I wasn't a fan of my old Ghost Tricks deck because I had none of the extra deck for it. I had just the engine. So I don't want to put that one in this list. So I'm including video games. Straight up. And let's segue that into the first one of this 5. Lunalights. Yes, I know. I talk about them all the time. I'm going to keep it brief. They are a Duel Links god tier deck in my opinion, or at least from my playing. I'm up to gold rank 5 now. It's gotten slower since, I'm getting higher ranked, more people, a lot of them I struggle with, but, I don't really struggle with a lot of them actually, but I'll have my moments where I rack up like 5 losses back to back, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, is this deck not good? And then win like 10 matches. So, definitely Lunalights are going to be, on this list, right up. The reason I like them, they're great OTK strat. If you got Emerald Bird, Crimson Fox, and Lunalight Fusion or Poly, whatever your poison is, if you can fusion summon this turn, and your opponent has an attack position monster, and they have no negation or no, stopping you, they've lost. They just straight up lost the game. Next one, I'm actually going to contribute to Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship Series 2010 Reverse of Arcadia. This game, I loved. I've ran 2 decks on it that I really enjoy, but the one I'm going to use for this list, unless I can't think of any more, is my level deck. I ran a mixture of Horus the Black Flame Dragon and Armed Dragon cards. That deck was actually really fun for that game. It was very thematic, like, it was an archetype, like everyone runs, It wasn't like a meta roguish kind of, meta roguish. It wasn't like a meta deck nowadays that's, an engine slapped onto whatever's winning. But, I'd run a lot of stuff, like, I ran a lot of Masked Dragons in there, because those things would help me search out baby dragons and Horuses. And then I had Element Dragon, actually, which was an interesting one for that deck, because it bounced off both of its effects would bounce off, because you had the Horus, which was your fire type, and then you had the, Armed Dragons for your wind types. Armed Dragon was just good for field removal. Horus was good for just stopping spell cards. Overall, it was a consistent running deck, and honestly, one that I really enjoyed for that game. I believe I ran Laval, the level 1 tuner dragon thing, the normal type with like 2k defense. Because that was a trend for a minute. Level 1s with like 2000 defense. Don't know why that was a thing. Uh, those were really interesting for me to run. I'm actually, once I've played through a few of these Yu-Gi-Oh games that are on my backlog, that's definitely one that's going to be going up. Because I love it. It's going to be a harder one to record because of the dual screen. I'm still figuring that out. Because I want to make sure that I at least have the deck screen as the top screen, or the field as the top screen. Next up would have to be one from the actual physical TCG. During high school, like freshman year through up until about mid-senior year, like early senior year. I was running Elemental Heroes, and it was a casual as hell deck. The way I ran it, I ran just about any hero I could fit in there that I liked. A lot of like King of the Swamp, Beast King of the Swamp, Mystical Sheeps. I was using those kind of cards with it. Of course, Parallel World Fusion, Miracle Fusion. My extra deck consisted of everything from like the manga cards. I ran Gaia, Tornado, Shining, the Dark One, Escurideo, I think's its name. And like I would run some of the anime ones, like of course I had to have Flame Wingman and Shining Flare Wingman. Those guys were my main wingman in high school. But that was a stupid joke. But I really enjoyed that deck. If I was to build, I can't build heroes though. I couldn't bring myself not to run a version like that, and I don't want to do that to myself. So that's 3. Shoot, I know what the last one, my favorite one of all time was. I'm gonna say that for the 4th slot. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna throw it to my Burn Stall deck from like I ran that thing alongside my E-Heroes for about a year and a half. And remember, those two decks, they are fully casual, no meta involved. It was literally just me upping my friends in high school. My Burn Stall deck, it was great. There's a lot of negation, a lot of like gravity binds, level limits. Those were fun. Of course, I was running your traditional 3 lava golems. Up until my friend learned, oh hey, Exceeds. Oh man, I was so mad when they came out with Exceeds 2 because it just made easy removal. Especially since he was such a big fan of Blue Eyes. I'd run some weird ones in there too, occasionally. Like, of course I ran, like, Poison the Old Man, because you need some life point gain. One of my favorites in it was Cylinder, which I actually ran through my, that's one of my favorite trap cards of all time, actually. There's another list. But, I loved running Cylinder because if you get your opponents basically shoot their own attack at themselves, heck yes, that is the way to do it. And, that was a fun little deck that I built. What's the next one? Oh, yeah, the last one. And, top one, this one I will give a top slot to. Cyber Dragon OTK. I ran that thing through a lot of locals. I never got a chance to go to regionals with it when it was in its prime. And oh my god, I regret it. Because this thing was wicked. I ran the basic Cyber Dragon engine with, of course, your 3 dries, your 3 cores, your 3 Cyber Dragons. I ran 2 honest in there just because everything was light type, so it was just dropping honest. Dropping honest. That's it. I never ran, well, I tried running proto. I didn't like it. Still don't like it to this day. I wish the new one, it's on Dual Links. I can't remember its name. I'm totally buying 3 copies of those, though. I want a playset of that, like, ASAP. And I remember when I was running that deck, before a few tournaments, before a few locals, came out, Chimeratech Rampage Dragon. And when I found that thing, it was over. I was working at McDonald's in high school, so I had money. And I bought most of the engine. I decided that I wanted to run the original artwork of Cyber Dragon. And I kept one of each on Cyber End Dragon because it just depended on my mood. I liked both of them. They both looked good. I had a rare copy of both artworks. It wasn't nothing special. I ran 2, I still have that deck. I'll probably do a profile on it. I was running something before some, bring back from grave spell before I had Monster Reborn back. Oh my gosh, when, Monster Reborn got re-released, or not re-released, off the banned list, me and my friends, we were like, oh god, this is the end of the game. It's all going to hell from here. Because we thought that card was going to be the new meta. I mean, it still is, like, really well used, don't get me wrong. But it's not as game-changing as it used to be, and it kind of fizzled. It's a good toolbox card, though. I recommend always siding it at the least. But yeah, I definitely had Monster Reborn in a few tournaments. Oh, that was fun. I'd also run some stuff like, I ran 3 power bonds, of course. If I would have had the option, I would have ran Future Fusion, but at the time it was banned. I think it might have got off the list, like, right at the end of me running it competitively. Definitely something I want to pick back up, though. That's a deck that I'm going to be rebuilding. I'm going to basically redesign its whole engine. And I ran like 2 Toon Cyber Dragons and Eltonin. 1 Eltonin. Just cause if my opponent had something stupid that couldn't be destroyed by battle or effect, I'd just play Eltonin, just remove it. Just slide it off your board. It's gone. It's not a problem anymore. Definitely loved running just a pure Cyber Dragon build. I ran for a bit I was running Cyber Source instead of Panzer Dragon, just because I had those laying around in my tin. And, honestly, Cybersaurus ran just about as good as Panzer did, minus the effect. It's a level 5 Earth Machine type, so I mean, hey, you don't got your Honest drop, but you're not keeping it, it's not going to stay around long enough for that. And it was really good for just a quick early Nova summon, or, a later game Nova summon if needed. Um, really, my only big downfall with that deck was once in a solid minute, I'd accidentally powerbomb myself to death. I ran 3 trap stuns up until I picked up a spell shattering arrow, and ever since then, because I haven't got around to buying 2 more of those, it's just sat there with 1 spell shattering arrow and 2 trap stuns. And it was just a fun card that I enjoyed running. Of course, I had my repair plants. Gotta have those. I didn't like Cybernetic Network. I was like, oh, this is too clunky. I threw that out quick. It didn't do much for me. It confused me, if anything. I still don't quite understand what it does. And I think, yeah, I ran Pleiades after, I think it was called Freezedon. Once I picked up Pleiades, it was on. The Pleiades was a fun one just to ban, or did it banish or turn to hand? I can't remember what it did. It was annoying to people, though. It was a good removal. I know that much. And actually, a funny story about that deck, since, this list took a lot less time than I expected. We're only halfway through the episode. So, here's a story related to the Cyber Dragon deck. So when I was running it, when I was going to tournaments, I was living with some people. And I don't talk with them now or anything. I was just kicked out of the house. I was like 18. It ended up getting stolen. And, that crushed me. That deck, I put so much time and actual physical cash into. It was the most I've ever spent on a physical deck to date. And I only had like 20, 30 bucks in there. Don't get me wrong, it's not much. But it got stolen from me. And, yeah, that was a really shitty experience. Later on, about a year later, before I moved to Idaho, I got it back. At a tournament, my friend was like, oh, hey, check out this deck I just bought, blah, 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 blah. Fucker spent $100 for what he knew was my stolen deck. And he ended up giving it back to me. And, I'm grateful for that. Later on, though, me and him, we couldn't get along. This shit happened, and I lost a lot of old high school friends during that time. I was a wreck myself. I was moving to Idaho. I mean, what more do I have to say? I decided to move to Idaho. But I played it in one tournament since then. And that was the tournament when I got it back. And I know who stole it. It was, hard not to call them out. But to be there, just playing that deck again. And granted, this was when Master Rule 4. This was our first tournament in Master Rule 4. A lot of people were running the structure deck or like a modified version of it. And then I stroll in with my old deck that I hadn't had for about a year. And I kind of blew the tournament up. Now I had like one singular loss in a match. But playing with Master Rule 4, I noticed how this deck it could function. It functioned well enough. Your instant fusion material is immediately going to be used. So that extra deck slot didn't matter too hard. It's when you start getting more into like a later game situation where you really start to feel it. Because at that point, I'm wanting to at least have either, you know, a Rampage Dragon and like a Nova or Infinity, or like a twin and like Pallades on the field. That was about the normal pairing I'd put together. I like Rampage because it'd clear out a back row. Then I'd have, 3 solid attacks right down the throat after Infinity cleared out whatever was in the path before it. And then Infinity would be just sitting there just to catch an effect. And vice versa, if I was running my twin, I had Pallades out just to have that removal. If I couldn't get Infinity, it was Pallades. It was normally Pallades at that point in the game. And it's funny looking back at a lot of these, because I ran some really casual decks, but I did have a good meta deck. And I really wish that I would have been able to take it to a couple regionals when it was in its prime, because I was doing good with that deck. And I'm definitely going to be rebuilding it for Master Rule 5. I'm going to have to deal with, like, so many hand traps. Holy shit. The hand traps, it's stupid. Oh my god, there's so many more. And I'm going to have to spend like $30 to get a playset of Ash. Just to have a playset of Ash. Which, I might run like 1 or 2 in my main, and then I'm going to side the rest. But, definitely got to do that. But yeah, if I could give anything to say to anyone, don't steal someone's deck. Don't steal anyone's cards. Because that shit sucks. It hurts you on a very personal level. Because you spend your time, your effort. I looked through so many deck profiles to build this thing. Because I wanted to build it right. Because I knew Cyber Dragons were good. And I was like, oh, hey, I know this is, kind of meta. Well, it was more anti-meta at the time I was running it, but it held well against the meta decks. Like, in Johnson City, there was a lot of people who played a lot of regionals there. It was a city. It had a lot more better players than my hometown. And I was winning almost like I did in Greenville, and I was like, okay, where can I improve? And I was slowly in the process of tweaking it, and then it was gone. So, don't steal someone's cards. Also, if you're going to run Cyber Dragons in Master Rule 3, or in Master Rule 4, run the Link Monster, damn it. That thing saved that deck to some extent until the hand traps killed it. Oh my god, I gotta find a way around hand traps. So, if anyone has any ideas on how to beat some hand traps, let me know down in the comments below. Because I am really sick of dealing with hand traps. What else do I say there? I noticed that regular trap cards have kind of died out. I might still run cylinders in it, because I like having cylinders. I'm definitely going to move up to, like, running 2 more spell shattering arrows, though. Trap Sun is not worth anything, at all anymore. And that's a shame, because that was a good card to have. I actually learned about that one through watching a lot of these deck profiles, and I was like, when it was explained to me, I was just sitting there like, Konami allowed that? Because I know Royal Decree was banned. I mean, I get it's a Royal Decree with like for one turn. It's such a good card, and they could probably unban Royal Decree if they haven't already. I haven't checked. I actually haven't looked into the latest banned list. I'm probably gonna be doing that tomorrow or tonight at some point, but definitely don't steal people's cards. And I've got a few minutes to kill. So outside of the game for a second, I wanted to talk about something. There's been riots going on in the world, in America. Um, what the hell, guys? Um, I hear this guy. I hear, I feel bad for the guy that lost his life. Don't get me wrong. I feel so horrible about that, and I'm gonna say a prayer for him and all that. But like the rioting, the looting, the scorched earth burning of buildings. It's just so, it baffles me. It reminds me almost of the Baltimore riots back when number 45 was elected. It's, I don't understand it. I don't understand why you're going out and just destroying stuff and robbing people for no reason. I mean, the protesting, I fully support, the peaceful protesting. Um, if you're gonna do something, do it peacefully. Just, don't throw punches. And like, I do think the police were at fault in this one for throwing tear gas, at least in Fort Wayne. They were, it was unprovoked. Because it was just people just sitting on lawns. People just sitting around. Yeah. They threw tear gas. That's not cool. That's a horrible thing. That's been ugh. But I think the rioting is stupid. Like completely just bonkers. And yeah, so the moral of this episode, don't be a dick and don't steal shit. And I decided to, I don't know, I might cuss a little bit more, I might not. It depends on the day. But definitely don't steal. And don't do a lot of this stuff that these rioters are doing. Just, just collect cards and sell them. Just be a nerd. Don't do drugs, kids. They're too fun. But that should be all for this episode. If you guys liked the video or the podcast, remember always like, subscribe. And I want some feedback about the last one, how I put in the Duel Links pack openings as an overlay on the screen. I just kind of did that because I didn't record it with audio. I was at work, but I was just playing the game on my phone. And I was like, oh, hey, I've got like 1,000 gems. My phone can record my screen. Let's just buy them and throw them on screen. But I do plan on doing some actual physical pack openings because I'm going to be working on some new decks. And I'm wanting to go buy some cards just to open packs. I like opening packs. And I kind of want to see if I'm going to bust or if I'm going to go into green. So yeah, expect some pack openings coming up soon. I think that should be it for this episode. So remember, hit that little notification bell. It'll let you know when the daily podcast is up. If not, it should be around 10 o'clock every day, consistently. I don't know. I might skip out on Sundays. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyways, bye guys.